Hey, did you learn a language at school? Which one? How far would you have to travel to be in the homeland of that language? Well, if you've got kids in school around the Caboolture area and the Moreton region, you might not have to travel at all. Aunty Jacque is an elder of the Gungaloo, Kabi Kabi and Jinnaburra mobs, and she teaches Kabi Kabi language and culture in 4 schools across the region. She was also at a First Nations languages workshop at Queensland State Archives earlier this month. Rose Barrowcliffe is a Bachelor woman and the First Nations advisor at the Queensland State Archives. Rose, what exactly is this workshop that was held?
Yeah, so what we do is we invite Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people from all over the state of Queensland to come down to Queensland State Archives for a week. And the workshop is led by Uncle Des Crump, who is one of the foremost Indigenous language experts in Australia. And he teaches these community members how to do archival research for language material for their language group.
And Aunty Jacque, you were there. What was it like?
It was such an awesome experience to learn and confirm the language of our Kabi Kabi that we teach here in the schools to the students. That was our confirmation. We felt like, oh yeah, we're on the right path, we're doing it properly. To see the words written down back in that time, the 1800s, the language words, it gave us proof, evidence. We were so happy and relieved.
What sort of things did you find in the archives? What were you looking at?
The Kabi Kabi languages, and we were looking at letters that were written from the government. We came across one letter where we were saying that that was written by a child or someone that didn't have proper spelling. So we were working that out, and we said, no, that's an adult, but they don't know their proper English because they still spoke the traditional language. So that was very interesting to come across that letter. It was just amazing.
And Aunty Jacque, you teach, as you mentioned, Kabi Kabi at Caboolture State High and some other schools around the region as well. I wish that was at school when I was at school. I would have loved to learn Kabi Kabi language.
I tell about when I was growing up, and also how I was taught the culture before I started school. My dad taught me all the culture and I went to the corroborees. So I tell these children this, the students, and tell them what a corroboree is, because some of them don't know. And also, I've got my corroboree grants at Jinnaburra country, Woodford, Dungidao clan, from my dad and my grandfather. It's just special to share that with all the students and the staff as well. So it's all a big still a learning experience, learning curve.
Yeah, and what's the response like from the kids when you go in and first start teaching them all of this stuff?
They love it, because then we teach them about the boomerangs. We call boomerangs bargains, and they go automatically, can we throw it? And with Woodford, they had plenty full of wood, so they used to make the big boomerangs so they could do the hunting for the kangaroo. So we told the kids it would take a week to make one boomerang back in the old traditional times. And then they used to trade. They would with someone from the Kabi clan, the neighbouring clan group, Waka Waka. So they had that trading power. So Jinnaburra mob, Dungidao, they'd trade with Kabi for seafood. So they'd make the boomerangs and say, here, we'll give you a boomerang for some fish out of the ocean, because they're inland people. It was just amazing to read all this, because my grandfather left that to Anthony Winterbottom. He's traditional Lit Star before European settlement, and he's left all the stories. Those stories are over 100 years old. They were told to me by my dad around the campfire when I was little. And then I was reading the stories to my children, and I said, wait a minute, I know these stories. And then my daughter is telling her children the stories. So that's a few family generations.
That's incredible, and great that you can take it into the schools as well and teach other generations and, different families and different
Yeah,
people as well. Interesting talking about, the trading routes with Jinnaburra and Kabi Kabi and Waka Waka. Is that why some of the language is quite similar? Because I know, hello is Nara in many
yeah.
of these languages. Is that why the similarities?
It's the dialects, yes, and their overlapping. Grandfather actually spoke the 10 dialects. He was able to, because we had, grandfather was the chief by the time he was 16 years old of the camp at Woodford, and we had also people from Kabi Kabi living there, Waka Waka and the other clan groups nearby. So there's about 500 people in the camp. So he learnt those languages, and then when they had their corroborees, their ceremonies, he was able to stand at that borderline, the tribal boundary area, and welcome them all over to Jinnaburra in their language, with some from Kabi Kabi, welcome them in Kabi Kabi in their language to make them feel comfortable. Like the Bunya Festival, so they would do that. And also Waka Waka, he talked to them mob in Waka Waka. And if they come from, around Australia, he spoke Pitjantjatjara language. And we still do that. We still have at the Wood 40th Festival every year in December. They still have everyone coming from all other different clan groups over Australia and Tasmania. So we welcome them all onto the country. So this is 2023. Yes, it's amazing.
It is amazing. And there's so many stories. I just want to sit in your class, Aunty Jacque, and learn all of this stuff because there's so much more for so many of us to learn. Rose, why do you think it's so important to, hold these language workshops that these Queensland State Archives hold and head into schools like this when it comes to culture and language?
Well, first and foremost, I think language is the underpinning of culture. So with any culture revitalisation or continuation, language is a crucial part of that. So I think it's often the starting point for a lot of people, alongside with learning if they're stolen generations that have been removed, they want to learn their family and community connections, but then they'll go straight to language as well. And it just makes all of us feel more connected to our country and to our people and culture and to our old ones that are past, knowing that we can still say those words that they use, the language that they used as well. But then Aunty Jacque shared a fantastic story with me, which I really loved. She was talking about her work in schools, and she was saying how, some of the kids, some of our young ones struggle in the school system today. They might struggle with reading or writing or counting. And what she does is she sits with them outside of the classroom and teaches them to count in language. And where they've struggled to count possibly in English, they absorb it much better in language. And I think that's a testament to how rich language is, that it's more than just the sum of its parts.
That's Rose Barrowcliffe. She's a Bachelor woman and the First Nations advisor at the Queensland State Archives. And you also heard from Aunty Jacque Kiner, an elder of the Gungaloo, Kabi Kabi and Jinnaburra mobs. Super interesting. And man, I so hope they do some of those lessons for adults as well at some point. I would be in. It's 10 to 10 on ABC Sunshine Coast. Sarah Howells with you.